Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Super Mario Bros. 3 race fans. We are getting ready to start for the next matchup of the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Challenge Cup. I'm Diesel Pilot, and I am here with my partner on commentary tonight, Riker Ryder.
Hey, good evening. I am Riker Ryder, and it looks like we are underway. This is a match between the number 16 seed sharky2107, who's been a veteran of the Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer community, versus drjayphd. This should be a very exciting, very close race the whole way through. Both of these runners are well-versed in a wide variety of randomizers. So if you like seeing randomizer action, these two are great people to watch, not just for this game, but for a wide variety of games. We do have Fort Knox as our first stage, which is never a first stage you want to see. This stage is very long if you don't come in without any sort of power-ups.
And since our runners are both coming in without power-ups, we do get to see the technique of how to go about getting the Tanuki suit so that you can go get into the main room and then eventually into the exit room where you go and fight Boom Boom. And here we go, we got Sharky2107 and Dr. J, PhD, nearly in sync as they fly up to that up vertical pipe at the top of the room, and we're going to have a nearly in sync Boom Boom fight. We got a little bit of an attempt there at the statue kill swag. We did see a third hit statue kill swag earlier in the evening on the other stream. Didn't see the rest of the battle, but
this is going to be an extremely quick World 1.
Oh yeah, they already have the bridge built.
Dr. J did miss the opportunity to skip this airship, but I don't blame him for playing this. Just for the ability to collect an extra life early, as well as get an item, which in this case is a cloud. Clouds are one of those items that can make or break the difference in races, especially in Group 1 flags. But we won't be seeing those. I believe for the Challenge Cup, the higher seed gets to choose whether they want to do... Like, there's a few different flag sets you can choose from, I believe.
That is... Oh yeah, I was just going to say, that is correct. There was a set of flag sets that were available, and Sharky2107 had the first choice of them, and he deferred for the first round to Dr. J, who selected to do the flag with the no end card set.
I do like that decision from Dr. J. What no end cards tends to do is it tends to make items matter more. You might see these runners value mushroom houses a little bit more, but every single item that you pick up is going to cost you.
So with each item being a more delicate decision between time and your ability to make further moves down later on in the game, we did see that come into play when Dr. J and Sharky both picked the Camera Brother fight. You said it was Dr. J that had the option of skipping the fight, and he decided to go ahead and play it and got us a cloud, which, since both runners will have an equal number of clouds, at least going into World 2 here, that won't be a determining factor, but the decision could still be important.
Now, one thing you do need to keep in mind when you're doing any flag set that involves shuffling of world order is taking notes on what worlds you've played. What worlds you've played will determine the value of items going forward, especially clouds.
Speaking of worlds that you've played, both of our runners here, off where they go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. I'm not going to sing the whole entire bit of the song right now, but they both get the Air Force, which is one of the fort stages. Since it does end in a Boom Boom battle, it does take place of one of the fortresses here, the fortress in World 1, which the only thing it could do is break that door, and it does.
And we do have our first lead change of the match. Dr. J, PhD, has taken the lead. but it is still a narrow lead, roughly half a stage. And we have a cheat sheep in the desert, which is going to make it very difficult to run forward at P-speed during this stage. So you're seeing Dr. J opt to fly over quite a bit of the stage, as well as Sharky. Sharky, having slightly better P-speed management, takes a very, very slight lead and is... It's too close to tell. They are dead even going into this. Hammer Brother.
I think it was the Hammer Brother time that the Hammer Brother spent moving that was the difference so far. Well, Sharky looks like he's trying to find an item, and he does find a flower up there. Oh, get right.
It's very, very important when you're searching for items in the Hammer Brothers stages that you grab the item box first so that timer is running. Sharky probably not too happy with that frog suit that he picked up from the Toad House. But I certainly agree with his decision to get that item.
You never know
items, particularly early on in Seeds with no end cards, are very, very valuable.
Never know when you could come across a level where just having that extra hit point to give could turn out to be very useful. Some trolly levels can show.
We have not run into any of the particularly nasty stages yet.
Oh, just give it time. I rolled this seed. In the meantime, Dr. J, PhD, does take the lead change with grabbing the wand from Larry after this fight. Not too difficult of a battle, although it does look like Sharky shows that he had a little bit of legs.
It's about a Toad House's difference. And Sharky does have that extra frog suit, which, depending on what levels we see, could come in handy. It's not likely to, but it could.
So Dr. J gets a music box at the end with the princess's letter and enters World 7. Pipe Maze, if there ever was one, World 7's got several pipe pairs that go back and forth across the map, and we see him decide to go and enter the Piranha stage.
Ouch.
Oh.
That's a tough death for Dr. J.
Looked like he was trying to time off the nipper plants there and ended up getting maybe a missed input with his tail there.
Now, routing in World 7 is very, very important. I love the pause strategies from Sharky here. Very well done to avoid taking damage.
And showing the narrowness of the hitbox across Mario's hat as well as he ducks down and avoids the fireballs. So this one has a star to give.
It looks like we have a little bit of a divergence between our runners. And they both find out that that pipe is just a dead end, so we will need to see the other path. And based on the pipe configuration so far, this could wind up being a very linear World 7, which is quite unusual.
So when you're running these... Oh, I see it now.
There's the lava fort, and Dr. J is small right now. So that tail that Sharky has, that could be a big advantage.
I never am happy to see World 7F2 anyways, and seeing it like that as small Mario.
Did you see what was in that power-up block at the start of 7F2? That was a one-up. That was a one-up. These runners are not going to get any help. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dr. J at this point maybe try to explore some of the other pipes to try to get around the 7F2. And that's exactly the decision he made making. Because that stage can just eat up lives like, oh no, he's going back in.
Oh, I was looking at Sharky. With the tail, he made a couple of these little daring drops. I don't think he intended to make one of them, but he was able to get around on the donut lift level. The old auto scroller from...
At the very least, the one-up at the beginning of 7F2 will not cause lives issues. And Sharky has found the way to the end, but a but a block is required to be able to complete this this world. So I think what you're going to see Sharky do is try to get back to that fortress on the top island. Oh no, he's going after 7F2 also.
I was looking at the map. I'm not sure if he can make it with the current map arrangement. I don't know if... I think 7F2 unblocks the lock to that fort.
No, it doesn't. There's another pipe on the side of it. We saw it on Dr. J's side.
Okay.
There is a pipe he could take. So this fort might not be necessary. But both of these runners making it deep into the fort. Sharky having the advantage of that extra power-up. But Dr. J is into the final room.
And now he's navigating the rotor discs and the thwomps. Fortunately, he shouldn't have too much trouble. There he goes. Just runs right underneath the thwomp.
So it'll be interesting to see where the runners go from here at the end of this, or after this fortress, because although Dr. J does have a lead in terms of level completion, Sharky has the knowledge advantage. And that fort was completely that fort was unneeded.
Indeed, it just opens up that one path over to the other fortress.
Oh boy, this is 7-6. 7-6 blocking the on the other side of the 7-6 blocking the second fort. So if Sharky can locate the correct pipe while he is big, he'll have a big advantage coming into 7-6 since he'll be able to do the clip.
And Dr. J, realizing that Patui was being blocked, needed to get past it, goes down and picks up the shell that he had kicked down in between a couple of other blocks earlier. Had to make him down a staring leap, but he managed to get it and gets rid of the Patui.
And now Sharky is discovering for himself the correct way. But there is a way up to that pipe that should be able to locate. I really feel for Dr. J here, and that death might actually be a blessing. It might be faster for him at this point to go get a mushroom house and try to get a fire flower or a mushroom out of it and do the clip instead of playing this level.
Sharky's definitely going for the clip. Don't blame him at all. He saw the opening, knows what he's up against.
Sharky does have a very interesting way to do this clip. The two clips in 7-1 and 7-6 you can actually do without ducking, unlike the rest of the clips in the game.
And he did get it, and I saw the thing that Mitch Flowerpower had the other day about the subpixels and how to get those clips technique. I haven't had a chance to go practice on myself yet.
Yes, there is
a 5F2.
There is a way to manipulate the subpixel in real time for vanilla speedruns, but it's not feasible for Randomizer because it relies specifically on grabbing the wand at the end of World 6.
Right, that's what he was showing, was how to... Yeah, it didn't look like he was explaining anything about doing the manipulation except with using the wand grab, so I was going to ask about that, if that was the only way to actually do the manipulation.
That setup is specific for the vanilla workless categories.
Okay.
Where any category where you would have to do 6 airship, you can use that manipulation for.
I see. Dr. Jake now entering 5F2 as Sharky is finishing 5F2.
So by being able to do that clip at the end, or at 7-6, that will give Sharky roughly a half-stage lead. Just needs to find his way back to the eastern island of World 7 to finish up the world. And it does look like this World 7 was pretty linear.
Linear, just a lot of items in between, or a lot of tasks to complete to get through it.
And that's how linear World 7s tend to be.
And 2-3 has given Sharky an unhappy combination of enemies. Looks like he was considering possibly using the cloud there. Music box plus a cloud would have let him go directly to the airship. But he doesn't decide to do that yet, instead picking the raccoon suit.
I think Sharky's concerned about items right now. But this is one of those stages that if you're going to use a tail on, I'm actually a bit surprised he didn't fly up to the second part of the level, because 2-4 can be very, very dangerous with all the Hammer Brothers, especially if a lot of them get randomized to be Fire Brothers. I would not. I thought that was going to be a star use there to get through the Piranha Plant stage. I'm very surprised Sharky didn't play that for the item, because he is very, very low on items. Down to just a couple of frog suits.
He uses one of them now to enter, and I'm actually also a little surprised he's not opting to damage boost just to make it go a little bit faster, but
he's going for frog swag.
Sometimes you just gotta go swag. Let's see what Ludwig gives him. He gives him a heavy Ludwig.
That's very good for keeping his frog suit.
3 hits.
4 and that's hits. A full 5. Oh, we will not dine on frog soup tonight. That's a shame.
From Frog Mario
look at the Hammer Brother on Dr. J's side. Did you see that Hammer Brother?
Down in the sandbar there. Yes, I did.
That was 2 blocks beneath the surface as well.
Randomizer gives you all kinds of weird enemies clipping into blocks. Dr. J does go and play the Piranha level, so he'll collect the item.
It'll be interesting to see what this item is. I know we have...
Oh.
Ouch. Ouch. I know we have no... end cards. Do we have hammerlocks for this flag set? I haven't reviewed all the flag sets for this yet.
Yes, so with this one, they did choose to leave the hammers in place, so hammers can break locks.
Dr. J struggling with this Piranha Plant. We might see... And we do see some sort of item use. These runners do want to save 1 star for the Bowser stage, if possible. And both of these runners taking quite a bit of damage, and this scene in particular is not being kind to either one of them. Dr. J does pick it up.
Yes, he did pick it up. He got the P-Wing in there.
And P-Wings can be very useful for certain stages, such as 6-9, 8-1. They can just be useful as just extra power-ups, such as just an extra leaf in a pinch, because when you complete a level with a P-Wing, you get to keep the tail that comes with it.
And we have already seen a couple of popular uses of the P-Wing in the 7F2, the Piranha Fort, and Fort Knox.
You don't see tail too much in the vanilla speedrun, but when you don't see what's coming in a randomizer ahead of time, having that little bit of extra time to react is paramount. And we do see our first beta level on Sharky's side as Ludwig gives Dr. J PhD the business again, sending him back to the start of the World 6 airship. Ouch.
It's kind of unfortunate hits there. But he'll enter the levels again and go play them again. About the only thing he can do at this point.
Now, from what
Sharky.
From what I understand, one thing you might notice about the 1.5 beta stage is that the enemies in that stage are not randomized. I have talked to Fred about this. And the reason why the enemies in that level stay vanilla is because currently, if you try to edit some of the enemies, there are certain combinations of enemies you can get that will wind up crashing the game on that level. Sharky does pick up a hammer.
I didn't know about that, but the hammer is going to turn out to be useful if he finds a good use for it.
If that...
Hopefully he doesn't hold on to
it. Wow, that's pretty big. Do we have to build bridges? No, but he's going to be able to use that hammer immediately to get access to the end of World 4, so that's going to be very quick for him.
He's already out of it and in the airship, the World 4 airship, and we'll see... Let's see, with the World 6 level, we'll have our circus clown, Lemmy.
Oh, Lemmy. Corner killing Lemmy is so much fun. Hopefully we can see these runners do it.
It's the only way to kill Lemmy. Well, nope, we're not going to see a fire kill. That's the best way to do it right there. Just, oh, he's still got the spin jump from the Tsar. Oh, he's...
I think he was trying to save that for the entire fight, which would have been amazing. Oh, just run it away.
I didn't even count how many hits he got.
4. It was 4.
4 hits, alright.
If it was only 3 hits, then that would have worked, too.
It's so close. Well, we got Dr. J can give it a shot, too. He's back in the 1-5 beta now.
So if Dr. J can find that hammer and winds up using it the same way Sharky did, Sharky has opened up a bit of a lead, but it's not as big as you would think. It's definitely not insurmountable, especially not with World 8 still waiting in the weeds at the end. They call World 8 the Great Equalizer for a reason. And we have Carpet Ford.
Lots of options. Carpet Ford?
Yep, Carpet Ford on Sharky's side.
He's going to go and take the Carpet Booze, knock at least one of them out with the star. And Dr. J gets a very quick kill with the 2 Boomerang Brothers on the stack.
Is that 3 drunken Hotfoots? I'm pretty sure that's 3 drunken Hotfoots. Go away, Hotfoot, you're drunk.
Think it was. Dr. J looking at see what he has.
Oh no! Oh no, Sharky dropped... It looked like Sharky dropped the jump input at the end of that fort. And Sharky does give us a look at our anchor item.
The anchor is a star.
Not the worst item. It's better than a frog suit. So those of you not familiar with the anchor frog suit running gag, in earlier versions of the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer, in earlier versions of the Randomizer, there was a bug in the distribution of the random item from the anchor that would cause it to be a frog suit roughly 85% of the time, and the rest of the time it would be a star. Sharky does take care of the Boom Boom this time.
Dr. J is able to take care of Lemmy as well.
And all of a sudden, Dr. J is only 1 stage behind.
Oh, we have another one of our beta levels here.
Beta 5-7. Now, this one you have to be very careful about, because some of the enemies, depending on what you get, you can jump into them and be okay, or you can jump into them try to jump them and be okay, or you can try to jump them and you won't be okay. What you see some runners do is they'll tap they'll tap right on the D-pad to be able to slow down slightly and give them just enough time to react. And it looks like Sharky has picked up a hammer suit. And this will wind up being a very quick World 5 as well, just one more stage.
Indeed, the Paradox fight puts us right at the door to the fortress. Although that's not going to...
That does not look pleasant, the start of that 5-5 at all. That does not look pleasant. And I definitely don't blame Sharky for going through a power-up here.
He's going to burn the frog suit real quick and switch to a tail, get his raccoon. Dr. JayPhd is quick on his heels. Sharky decides he doesn't need any more frog suits. He's had enough.
And we haven't seen any of the underwater stages yet either. So for his sake, he doesn't want to see any more of those.
Dr. J narrowly avoiding a hit with one of the parabeetles there, green parabeetle.
I do like Dr. J. I do like Dr. J's slow and steady strategy through that level.
Yes, I think it almost looked like he was timing it by hitting those coin blocks just to get his pacing set up.
So I would say at this point, Sharky has stage and a half, almost a 2-stage lead at this point. but that can turn around very quickly.
Dr. J was able to clear out one of the fire snakes with the Koopa shell, and he's... Oh, let's see if it does. Nope, he almost had another kill with between the piranhas and the fire snake that was giving him trouble, but he doesn't do that, and he doesn't take the pipe either. Skips the frog suit. Sharky is coming down after taking care of the business with Roy.
You need a tail to get that, to get the frog, for it to be worth it to check that item.
Indeed. So now
that
Dr.
tail
J is just the...
That tail is so handy. It gets such little screen time in the workless runs, but it's ever so useful in Randomizer. Is Sharky going for the wall jump here?
Looked like
Oh,
he
no,
was.
he's not.
Instead, he finds himself in 6-9.
I remember at AGDQ, we played a couple of seeds, and he told me that he always goes for the 6-9 wall jump once.
That could be fair little bit of intel for him to take around.
And if you get it, it does save a tremendous amount of time, because 6-9 is not a short stage.
Not at all, and it's also a very infamous stage, especially in the randomizer. What with all the blooper nannies and everything else that comes around to.
Whether that 5-up was intentional or not, I don't think it was a bad idea for him.
Going from 5 to 10 lives can definitely be that insurance that you might need.
Well, this is 6F1. Come on, Sharky, do the thing. Yes! I approve, Sharky. So that gap in 6F1, that is the only spot in the game where you can actually do that. The gap between the moving platform and the ceiling there is exactly the size of Mario's sprite, so you can actually do 30 hertz jumping there. You can actually jump every other frame.
Oh, Dr. J takes a hit in 6-9. Elects instead to go ahead and bypass it.
And I do approve of that for other reasons, because if you only have one power-up there, then you don't even waste time by doing that. Because the only way to be able to skip that platform ride is if you have 2 power-ups. And you can't do it if you're small. If you try to do that jumping while you're small, you're probably gonna die.
And we also see that as he used the cloud, he also decided to enter that in-card panel, the roulette game. Not so much, I think, in order to try to gain lives. I think that was mostly just an attempt to save his spot. He did not want to end up back on the other side of 6-9 again.
That's actually a really good tactic. Careful, Sharky. There you go. Well done. When both of those Hammer Brothers wind up on the bottom row, it can get really ugly.
It gets hard to keep figuring out which ones are going to be coming and going.
Dr. J's really closed the gap in the last few stages.
Indeed, he has.
It's only down to about half a stage now, and we do have Atlantis.
Looks like Sharky's going to play it.
Nope. No, Sharky's not going to play it. I believe Sharky still has the cloud. Dr. J is not going to be too happy to find Atlantis. So that will eat into his comeback attempts.
Oh,
so Dr. J's still one stage behind, but that's a 90-second stage we're talking about here. And he's got to be kicking himself for that cloud before. And that's just bad luck. That's just bad luck. There's only 2 auto-scrolling stages remaining in the game. This one, because currently with Fred's codebase, removing... Oh, we might get a wand clip here! And Sharky gets
We
it.
do. So you're saying with Fred's code base?
With Fred's codebase, currently, if he has tried to remove auto-scrolling from the Atlantis stage, but he is unable to do that without crashing the game. And the issue with removing auto-scrolling from 5.9 is that it can despawn some of the platforms that are needed to finish the level. So unfortunately, 5-9 will remain an auto-scroller for probably the rest of the randomizer's existence, and Atlantis will remain an auto-scroller for the foreseeable future. Speaking of long stages, we have 5-3 on Sharky's side, so both of our runners in very, very long stages.
5-3 with a full length of 2 overworlds. I always enjoyed playing it as a kid just because it had, oh no, and Boss Bass.
Boss Bass should stay on top, though.
Hopefully so. That is an important rule for him to follow, and I do believe in him following rules.
Unlike some other things in this game, like Paragoombas. I swear, Paragoombas are the worst enemies.
They're brutal. They just come and go and do whatever they want. They don't even ask your permission.
It's arguable whether Paragoombas or Drunken Hotfoots are worse, but they're both pretty bad.
And Drunken Hotfoots, you can try to dance with them, but they'll still burn you.
And this is 7-4, so more lengthy stages. And there was no immediate pipe in World 3, in this World 7, which is the World 3 overworld. So we could be in for quite a lengthy end to the seed.
I didn't realize we were already to World 7. Where does the time go?
This has been a pretty quick one. But World 7 and 8 could say otherwise. Both of those worlds, with the configuration we have right now, can get very, very lengthy. And we've seen very few level skipping items in this seed. I think there's been a single hammer and a single cloud discovered by our runners so far, and that's it.
I think that's about right, so it could be a rough World 8 seed. We'll find out as we go through it. The World 3 also having the potential for being a really long overworld as it is.
We also only have one lock accounted for at present. Oh, there they both are. So now it's just a search for the end. 3 locks! There's 3 locks!
So I'll have to find somewhere else to get out of here. We got a couple of forts that we just saw on the other end of that pipe. Oh, our donut fort.
So it's just gonna be pick a fort and... just pick a fort and hope you get lucky. So this was one of my favorite forts growing up as a kid because it has a secret area that you'll never see in any category of Super Mario Bros. 3.
I accidentally hit that one not too long ago, just goofing off with Randomizer, and I had forgotten just what a pain that vertical climb was. And
it's supposed to get you ready for World 7.
Oh, it got me ready to...
Donut fort, not the fort. Sharky, a little indecisive, ultimately does make what I believe to be the correct call.
And we find ourselves in 1-3. And we'll see if he decides to pick the item.
I don't think he will. It's the later you get in the seed, the less valuable items become.
It
looks like he's going for it.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask him why he's going for this item in post-race.
He is a little... We are a little bit low on items, but, I mean, I guess everyone could be helpful. Turns out to be a fire flower, which could be quite useful, depending on what you run into.
So the reason why you clear this fort first is because if this opens up the way to the way to the end fort, then you're good. If it doesn't, then it opens the lock that's on the upper left corner of the second screen, which will get you to the third fort faster.
I see. Making all kinds of sense with that logic there.
Once you've played, 200 or so of these, you'll have a very good idea of how the logic works.
Oh no. Dr. J, he was able to get out of it though.
Yeah, you can get out of that if you go in the door. Alright, moment of truth. And it does look like he will need to play an additional stage. Sharky, you ain't getting around this.
Looks like he's trying to find... Is he gonna try to go back to the other side of the screen?
He might, but I think there was another stage in the way, so it's not gonna make a difference how many stages he has to play. He's going to need to play one extra stage to get to this final fortress either way.
And he chooses... Well, probably pretty...
This isn't a bad stage. Out of all the primarily underwater stages in the game, this is one of the shortest ones.
So we got our Lakitu 4-4, and I do love how Lakitu tries to play goaltender sometimes here, bombarding you with spinies from way above, way off screen.
As long as you keep moving, the spinies aren't an issue.
And then sometimes the spinies start bouncing along the underwater blocks and playing Plinko.
As long as you keep moving in that stage, all the spinies should land behind you. Oh, we have a top route from Dr. J. This route is faster only if you know the speed strats for this level. The bottom route has a power-up on it. I mean, this route does as well, but it'll mess up your speed strats if you do that. But the bottom route has a power-up that's much easier to obtain, and it's much shorter. So you'll see most runners, especially in the Challenge Cup bracket, will be taking that bottom path. So I'm very interested to see if maybe just Dr. J is more used to the top path. That's entirely possible.
And Sharky made his way through the 7.3 beta without too much trouble. Lakitu tried to give him a little bit of grief, but he got around.
And there was an additional stage, so it did not matter which path you took. There was no way out for
block. Yep, I saw the number 2 block up there. And with a Hammer Brother there, and
Sharky debating using an item, I think. This call is fine.
Probably the best decision. Definitely turned out to be the best decision since he was small, and even with the star there, would have been trouble with the water stage.
Oh, absolutely. And Sharky is going to clean up the rest of the Boomerang Brothers here.
You got to get all the items you can, even though you're not going to have many more. Actually, I don't think you'll have any more opportunity to use that music box.
I don't think so.
Not if all the Hammer Brothers in Worlds 3 now are accounted for.
Sharky not going for door 3. I like this tech. I like this tech a lot, of going through door 5 to go for a power-up.
Get the power-up, get big, and then go fight Bim Bim.
We
never know what's going to end up on the other side.
We haven't seen a lot of that before this tournament. About door 5 in 3F1. I knew there was an A power up there. I just couldn't remember what door it was in until this tournament.
And Dr. J finding himself in that in the Hammer Brother fight as small in the water, but he does clear it with all the trouble that it did cause him.
This has been a really good race the whole way through. Dr. J is only about a stage behind, and that can easily change in World 8, as has been alluded to many times by the great LazCardsFan23. World 8 is the great equalizer, and the seed cutting our runners a break.
With side salad Wendy.
One hit for Wendy.
So one hit, Wendy. I don't even think that counts as a side salad. That's like a junior shake, Wendy.
So if you're Sharky, you're coming in on the 40-minute mark, and you've just started World 8. The 40-minute mark is really in these races, especially on this flag set, where nerves start to really creep up. Just you have no idea where your opponent is, how much of which way they went in World 8, which way they went earlier in the seed. That's one of my favorite things from a runner perspective about randomizer races that keeps it so exciting. Is you do not get any information about where your opponent is. Neither of these runners can see where the other one is. So the only piece of information that you get about where your opponent is when it's too late.
And we see, ooh, Dr. J having to juke out Wendy there as he gets his battle of a small Mario. Now, so both of them now are going to be in World 8, and since neither of them are knowing really where the other is, it's at 40 minutes. So what's going through their minds about, does this affect how they make their decisions of what stages to play, or how they use the few items they have left?
Oh, absolutely, this will affect your decision making. If you think you're behind, then you'll take a route. You'll take a route that's the second best route. That's the way I like to deal with these great equalizer World 8, Level 9 and Zelda 1, Ganon's Tower and Link to the Past, all sorts of those things. If you think you're losing, you take the second most efficient route. If you think you're winning, you take the most efficient route. Because if you're behind and both players take the most efficient route, you're not going to come from behind to win.
I see.
That's the best way to approach these. Is if you think you're losing, take an efficient but not the best route. You'll want to take a route that you don't think your opponent will take.
Dr. J takes one death in the Navy, recovers from it, and ends up defeating Boom Boom to get through that first one. And as we said, we haven't seen where that lock or bridge was. Now Sharky's in the super tanks.
So for instance, by doing this fort first, Sharky might think he's behind. Because the optimal play is to get to the dark room as quickly as possible, because that's where the most empty spaces are. Or rather, where the most spaces that could contain a level are. And you want to maximize the number of spaces that could contain a level in your search, because that room will have the most locations where fortresses can get shuffled to. And in World 8, you want to maximize the number of fortresses that you're clearing to be able to ideally locate the bridge, or locate the moat to Bowser with as many of the fortresses done as possible. So that way you're minimizing backtracking. The amount of backtracking people have done on World 8 has made differences in races earlier in this tournament. And this is looking to be quite a serpentine World 8.
And we saw Dr. J did go ahead and play the world at World 3-9, which Sharky decided to skip out on.
That's the answer. We got to build one bridge, and we know that the super tank fort that Sharky played before, that's not the one. I think Sharky was debating playing that stage to be able to minimize overworld map movement.
Oh.
So one of the forts, the fort that we need, it's going to be one of the two in the dark area.
I think I've gotten myself confused about where all the pipes are going with all this pipe transitions.
And Sharky has to play 8-1.
Oh.
He has to play 8-1 because there's a lock in front of the forts. 8-1 is the only way there. And I think he's realized that.
So he'll probably be going back. Yep, there he goes. He goes back now to play to play it, whatever it is on the other side of that.
And this is why World 8 is the great equalizer, folks. Hold on to your hats.
It's that 3 pipe transitions he's got to bank, though, to get back over there. And Dr. J, PhD, is playing the Potable hand stage now, and he'll get yet another.
Once he completes these hand stages, once he completes this hand stage, I believe these two will be pretty even. Sharky may be having a half a stage to a full stage lead, which is definitely something that one death can turn around. So Dr. J is really one mistake from Sharky away from being back in the lead.
And I think, well, no, he's not going to go and play 8-1 just yet. So I was going to say that could have been it right there.
So
And
now the question is, do you clear both of these forts before checking the pipe? And there's that death we were talking about. The Sharky is giving up quite a bit of his lead here. This could wind up being both runners in Bowser's Castle simultaneously.
Oh,
and
that would be a thing to see.
This could be another This could be another nerves factor again too, because we are 46 minutes into this race and there is no dot done.
And we have Sharky making his way delicately through 5F1.
Dr. J taking the wrong path. A little surprised he's not taking an intentional death. Might not know that this will not open up one of the locked doors.
That could be the case with all the twists and turns that World 8 always provides. It can be easy to get lost in where you're going.
And Sharky has indeed completed it, so it was the Navy that was the answer. So he will be on his way to Bowser's Castle.
There he goes, and with all the extra 1-ups he has, he's able to spend one of them.
And Sharky will have the hammer suit and the star.
How's that? Ah, there he goes. Gets the hot foot out of the way.
And we should see Sharky go for the clip to skip the fireball room. He has been practicing this clip quite a bit. So I would not be surprised to see him go for this clip.
It'd be wonderful to see. That fireball room has taken away so many... Oh, not this...
I think he's trying to get up to... Oh, no, he's just giving up on it and going bottom route.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
It already lost that one donut. I have seen these rooms take away so many hammer suits.
Especially with the new code in 1.3 that randomizes the lasers and the fireballs in these final rooms.
Oh, just like that.
No way. There's no way you're keeping a hammer suit through that. And now even death can become a threat here.
Ooh, just like that.
Just he's one improperly positioned fireball away. But does make it through to a Bowser. Now, when you don't have any power-ups against Bowser, you do have to be very careful. Because even though you're, for the most part, safe inside his hitbox, if your positioning gets off, he can still snipe you. But Sharky knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, he's got this down. Although he could have turned Bowser around the other direction a little bit.
I think he's playing this safe just to make sure that he can get the kill. I don't blame him.
Yeah, at this point, you absolutely don't want to end up going down to just 1 or 2 pixels to the wrong direction. And there he goes.
That is a dead Bowser. And
so
Sharky will
make our announcement.
And that will leave Sharky the winner of our first race in this series with the time of 49 minutes and 12 seconds. Well done.
Absolutely. And Dr. J, right on his heels, though.
Not too far behind.
Not at all. So this turned out, as you're saying, both in Bowser's Castle at the same time. Dr. J is entering just as Sharky is getting.
And that came down to World 8 routing as well, because we were a little bit focused on Sharky's Bowser's Castle, but Dr. J played an extra fort. That ice fort? Playing that ice fort.
That's right, he did have 6F2 there, I saw that.
Yes, that was a level that Sharky did not play, so that routing decision made all the difference.
And we see the randomized fireballs there. There's 3 of them come and launch right to his head. Is he?
Oh,
no!
That last jump can be a doozy when you don't know where the random fireballs are going to be.
It looks like he's going to play this one to just get the, I guess, if he can carry some power-ups through it.
Well, especially considering that Dr. J might be running a little bit low on power-ups at the time. But that last room really keeps you on your toes, because it's different every single time you play. And one of the reasons why that randomization was added is because the only thing that was randomized in previous versions of the game in Bowser's Castle was the single enemy, the single regular enemy that appears in the castle, that Hotfoot. That's the only thing that was shuffled in the castle before. So a couple of features were added, such as the random direction and rotation on the space waffles, as well as the Bowser fire in the final rooms. It makes the last stage a lot more interesting.
I do love seeing how, even though it's painful sometimes to see the hammer suits get lost there. It is, I definitely, as an observer, as a watcher, I've had fun watching new change made. And there we go. Dr. J gets through without any hits and enters Bowser's room, ready to go for it.
If you're familiar with the hitboxes on the donuts, you can actually stand on the edge of them and they won't fall. And that can be very useful for getting through that room.
Right, they always do that little glowing and shaking thing. They change colors, and then the next thing you know, they're all shaky, and then they go bye-bye.
Yes, but if you stand on the edges of them, they won't do that.
Yes, and that's where you get that little... That's the indication right there. And there we go. Dr. J has cleared it.
I wonder if maybe seeing the dot done put him a little bit on tilt towards the end. That's entirely possible. And that's one big thing about not just the randomizer tournaments, but competitive gaming in general is tilt management. So it'll be interesting to see if he'll be able to calm down a bit before his second race, because now he has to rattle off 2 in a row, and Sharky gets to pick the flag set for the second race.
That's right, and with both of our runners now finished, we are going to go ahead and get set up for the second race, and this is a best of... So don't go away, anybody, because we got a lot of Mario left to